Hold on, we've got 20 crazy stories lined up for you today, and the first one involves a 30-car pileup. Buckle up, here we go. Joe was driving his Tesla through thick fog when he suddenly realized he was rapidly approaching flashing lights. He hit the brakes, but nothing happened. The road was covered in ice. He quickly decided to go off-road into the median in an attempt to avoid hitting the vehicles that were blocking the entire highway. He braced for impact, and after coming to a stop, he was relieved that he was safe and the car was okay. At least, that's what he thought. Exactly 1 minute later, a truck driver made the same decision to go off-road, T-boning Joe's Tesla on the passenger side. A total of 18 cars and 12 semi-trucks were involved in the crash on I-90 that morning. The Washington State Patrol said that freezing fog was the main contributor to the 30-vehicle pileup. 3 people were transported to local hospitals, but thankfully all injuries were reportedly minor. Joe was totally unharmed but very shaken up, which is understandable. The State Patrol later posted these aerial photos from the accident scene, and in one of them we can actually spot Joe's Tesla. The Tesla was towed to a junkyard since the initial report stated it would probably be declared a total loss by the insurance company. Joe filed a claim with the driver of the pickup truck who'd hit him. The insurance company is waiting for the State Patrol to complete their investigation, as there is one person who has been cited for going too fast for conditions, and they consider that person responsible for the entire incident. After seeing pictures of the aftermath, it's definitely a miracle nobody was seriously injured in this massive accident. Becca was going to make a U-turn, an illegal U-turn he admits, which he makes regularly to drop off packages at the post office. When oncoming traffic was clear, he made the U-turn while the driver behind him slowed down. Unfortunately, he didn't notice a Porsche speeding up the left lane. Becca contacted the police and was cited for making an illegal U-turn. He added that the officer was nice about it when he owned up to his actions. The Porsche driver was not happy, but Becca wanted to point out that he was speeding after all. Becca filed an insurance claim, and Geico sent an estimator out twice before repairs began. His Model S sat in the shop for a month while repairs were completed. The original repair estimate was $36,000, but after the second visit from the estimator, the total cost came to $48,000. Geico rented a Kia K5 for Becca, but after 35 days, he had to start paying $56 per day to continue renting it himself. Thankfully, he was able to upgrade it to a Tesla Model 3 for just $63 per day. Jim was driving his Model 3 with the full self-driving beta activated. The Tesla was cruising along in the right lane when a semi-truck started overtaking him in the left lane. Suddenly, the truck started moving into Jim's lane, hitting the back end of the Tesla and essentially pit maneuvering him. Jim told us the Tesla made the post-impact spin save all by itself. He came to a complete stop just before entering opposing lanes, right in front of a sign informing him that he was going the wrong way. The trucker drove for a while before realizing he'd hit the Tesla. Afterward, he yelled at Jim for turning out in front of him. Jim and his wife both walked away unharmed. The Tesla was in the repair shop for 9 months, but it also made a full recovery. According to Jim, getting the car repaired was a huge hassle. At what Tesla called their best shop in North Carolina, they vastly underquoted the damage by $11,000, making working with the insurance company a nightmare. On top of that, he says Tesla messed up his vehicle's registration by registering his vanity plate to another Tesla he purchased as a replacement when he thought the first one would be totaled. He eventually begged Tesla leadership directly for help after the New York Times reached out to tell his story. We do have to admit, it is a great license plate. Scott didn't realize that his rear driver's side door was open when he started backing out of his garage in a hurry. The door of his Tesla Model 3 was destroyed and the window was shattered. The garage door track was also badly damaged, but his reaction was classic. Breathe, Scott, it's just a door. Then again, it did cost $5,000 to repair. Ashley was on her way to work when she witnessed a car getting some airtime. Wow! Let's watch that one more time in slow motion. Ashley had noticed the vehicle swerving all over the road before this happened. Somehow, it managed to hit the wheel of a truck, which launched it upward. Ashley was late for an appointment and wasn't able to stop, but she says a tow truck driver also witnessed the whole thing, so the accident was probably dealt with quickly. This submitter was driving his Model Y southbound to Seattle on Blewett Pass when an oncoming Honda was driving too fast for conditions on the icy roads and lost control. The Honda spun out and was T-boned by the Audi in front of the submitter. Luckily, our submitter was able to avoid the hail of car parts. He stopped and called 911 before making sure that everyone was safe. Unfortunately, 1 passenger from the Honda and 3 passengers from the Audi were transported to a hospital for injuries. The accident closed the pass for 2 hours until it could be cleared. The Honda Civic was totaled and the driver was cited for driving too fast for conditions. What do you think insurance companies would pay for a crash like this? Estimating the damages, I'd say $15,000 for the car itself, $5,000 for the other person that was hit, $20,000 for hospital and medical bills, so a total of $40,000? Here's the crazy thing though, insurance companies would probably offer less than half of that amount, and that's because their job is to pay you as little as possible. That's where this video's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, comes in. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 800 attorneys nationwide, and has recovered over $13 billion for their clients. They take on insurance companies and fight to get their clients the money they deserve. Statistics show that hiring a law firm increases the average size of an insurance settlement by 3 times. The best part? You pay nothing up front to work with Morgan & Morgan. The fee is free unless they win. If you're ever injured in an accident and want to get the compensation you deserve, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/whambam or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. Victor is a realtor. While heading to his next appointment, a moving truck appeared out of nowhere, leaving him no time to react. The truck driver denied any responsibility and claimed they'd come to a complete stop at the stop sign. They said that Victor had run his stop sign and hit them. Victor says everything was fuzzy at the time and that he started doubting his own memory. After going back to watch the video, he realized he didn't even have a stop sign. The truck driver had definitely run theirs and was just trying to cover their own butt. Now Victor is consulting with an attorney to negotiate with the other driver's insurance provider. Seriously, it's just like in the ad. Ingrid left her car parked on the street in Isla Vista, a California college town. Her friend had suggested she park her car in the lot behind his unit, but she decided against it because of its narrow path. When she returned to her car the next day, she discovered her driver's side view mirror hanging down against her door. A quick review of the Sentry Mode footage revealed what had happened. 3 guys walked up to her Tesla before one of them kicked the mirror while another Naruto ran away. Ingrid thinks they did this because her car is pink, but she's not sure. She really doubts she'll be able to identify the guy, but if anyone recognizes him, I'm sure she'd appreciate the information. Ingrid filed an insurance claim, and the first estimate came to $510 US. They warned her, however, that the price would increase once repairs started since they'll likely find more damage. Ingrid is planning to make a police report, but she hadn't at the time of this submission. If the guy who did this sees our video, here's your chance to make contact with Ingrid and pay for the damage without involving the police. Just contact us and we'll forward your info to Ingrid. Check out the encounter Danny witnessed while driving home from work. It seems the driver of the white Honda didn't like how slowly the BMW ahead of him was driving, so he passed them aggressively. The Honda driver then brake-checked the BMW driver, and then they both started honking at each other. The BMW driver then passed the Honda, and they both stopped at a stop sign up ahead. The BMW driver jumped out and walked over to have a word with the Honda driver, followed by his passenger. Notice how both of them shut their doors. That becomes important later. Words were exchanged, and the BMW driver made a rude gesture before they both returned to the BMW. When they did, they discovered they'd locked themselves out of the car, with the engine running. What a twist! Crystal was driving her Model 3 down Sonoran Desert Parkway in Arizona when a guy flew over her Tesla's glass roof in a paramotor. Crystal says it was super cool and she's glad she honked and saved the clip. Another clip from Finland. Unsurprisingly, there was a massive blizzard as Simo drove down the highway. As he came up behind a snowplow, he saw that one of its tires had had enough plowing for the day when it decided to take a detour. The tire rolled in front of him for a while before stopping in a safe place by the highway guardrail. Mark and his wife were having dinner in downtown Oklahoma City, and he'd parallel parked on the street next to the light rail tracks. On this street, a white line indicates where you need to be parked so the train won't hit your car. Mark says it's not easy to fit his Model S's wide rear end within that line, but he pulled it off. Unfortunately, the white SUV that had parked facing his Tesla, which is also illegal, was over the white line. As a result, the train had to stop and a spotter was dispatched, inconveniencing everyone on board. It was very close. Mark noticed the SUV had been ticketed when he returned, but he's seen cars get towed for blocking the train and says the SUV owner got off lucky. As inconsiderate or oblivious as the SUV driver was, things could have been a lot worse for them. Paul was driving his brand new Model 3 in the rightmost lane when the young driver of a Ford F-150 in the center lane suddenly turned into his lane. This caused severe damage to the rear door and quarter panel, as well as minor damage to the front door, 2 rims, and an aero wheel cover. The other driver claimed she'd swerved to avoid hitting the car in front of her and didn't notice Paul's Tesla in her blind spot. They both made collision reports at the police station, and the Ford driver confirmed Paul's story and accepted full responsibility. An insurance claim was filed, and after taking the car to a Tesla-certified body shop, the insurance company approved to pay for the $6,500 in repairs. Joinsy was traveling along the M4 motorway in the UK at around 60 miles per hour. All of a sudden, the driver of the Fiat 500 in front of him slammed on the brakes and came to a complete stop. Joinsy didn't have autopilot engaged at the time, but the traffic-aware cruise control gave him an audible warning and applied heavy emergency braking. This gave Joinsy just enough time to swerve around the Fiat. We can see the truck traveling behind him also barely avoided wiping out the Fiat. Joinsy sent along a shout-out to his son Joseph. They watched the Wham Bam channels together all the time. Chris pulled over to make room for an oncoming police car with lights and siren active when an oblivious Honda driver decided everyone must have been making room for them instead. The Honda driver pulled directly into the path of the police car, which had to make an evasive maneuver to avoid them. Mia was driving her Model Y in France. When she pulled up to a red light, she noticed 2 guys jump out and walk over to a pizza delivery guy. When the driver of the car opened the passenger door of the delivery van, he slammed it into his own car door. That must have left a nice dent. Some kind of confrontation ensued, but they soon appeared to calm down and go their separate ways. We have no idea what led up to this, but we can't help wondering if it was really worth that massive door ding. Ricky had left his Tesla parked at a charging station while doing some Christmas shopping with his mom. That's when he got a Sentry Mode alert that the alarm on his Model 3 had been triggered. When he rushed out to his car, he found a video of someone backing into his car before driving off. When the alarm had been triggered, basically everyone in the parking lot noticed it. There's no way the Kia driver didn't notice it too, but they still just left. There was a witness who started recording after the collision, and he gave Ricky their photo of the Kia's license plate, but Sentry Mode did most of the detective work. Ricky filed an insurance claim, but he doesn't have a repair bill yet. Unfortunately, he did have to pay a $500 hit-and-run deductible. Davio was driving on the A4 in France when a meteorite appeared in the sky just above his head. Even though it was shocking, there were no resulting accidents. Yusuf was parked outside of a 7-Eleven when he got a notification on his phone that his alarm was going off. He went to investigate and found a large dent on the side of his car. When he reviewed the footage, he wasn't surprised that it was a Honda that had backed up and hit his passenger side door. The driver didn't even get out and just took off, making it a hit and run.
Jump in! Honda bombed! Honda bombed! Yeah, Honda bombed!
Mach 2 was entering a highway in Fremont, Wisconsin. As he left the on-ramp, the SUV in front of him drifted across 2 lanes and hit the concrete wall before being launched airborne. Mach 2 stopped and made sure the driver was okay, which she was. Apparently, she'd been texting. She had 2 flat tires, a messed up front end, and the driver's side looked like it had sustained a ton of damage. Shaz was driving his Model 3 to work in Edmonton, Alberta when a truck pulled up next to him. Shaz noticed the driver looking over at his Tesla. Being in oil country, he figured the truck driver was probably about to do something stupid. As soon as the light changed, Shaz took off before discovering the truck driver had every intention of causing a collision. Had Shaz not stopped, he thinks they would have made contact. That's when Shaz noticed the truck driver had a vanity license plate that read Bradway. He says he couldn't help but think, yeah, that makes sense.